Good morning. Today is Wednesday, December 21st, and this is Devotions from St. Paul Evangelical Lutheran Church in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. This coming Sunday will be Christmas Day, and so I'm going to take a passage from John's Gospel and talk about John's take on Jesus and what he's about. Now, part of this is what I read last week, but this goes a little further than that. So this is the beginning of the Gospel of John. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and without him not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life, and the life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. There was a man sent from God, whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify to the light, so that all might believe through him. He himself was not the light, but he came to testify to the light. The true light, which enlightens everyone, was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world came into being through him, yet the world did not know him. He came to what was his own, but his own people did not accept him. But to all who receive him, who believe in his name, he gave the power to become children of God, who were born not of blood, or of the will of flesh, or of the will of a man, but of God. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. And we have seen his glory, the glory of a Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. John's take is a little different from the other gospel writers. It's not concrete other than it mentions John the Baptist, but it's more of an idea of a spiritual sense of who Jesus was. But think of the words at the beginning again. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So from the very beginning, Jesus was God. Jesus was here at the creation. But this is Christmas we want to talk about now. So we want to get to the part where it says, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. That's probably the most important thing that has ever happened in this world. That Jesus became flesh and dwelt among us. Now, John describes Jesus as the light of the world. And he says that the light that was given to this world was life. And what that says to us is we have life through Jesus, through Christ. And without Christ, we really don't have life. It also says that this light was something that the darkness could not overcome. And John goes on to explain that Jesus came into the world and the world did not know him. And he came to his own people and they did not accept him. Now we are 2,000 years after the events that are described here. And we have to ask ourselves, are we among those that do not know Jesus? Are we among those that do not accept him? But we can take heart because John tells us this is the light that came into the world and the darkness could not overcome this light. We're always going to have good and bad in this world until Jesus comes again. We're going to have things that belong to the darkness that are going to try to overcome the light, but they will always fail because Jesus came as the light He came as the light for you, and he came as the light for me. And especially at this time of Christmas, when we celebrate his birth, we celebrate him coming to us in the flesh. And as John says, full of grace and truth, grace for us and truth for us, we must pay special attention to this. Yes, do all the good preparations. If you're like me and my family, we're all wrapped up in preparing for Christmas. But understand, the light is here, and the darkness has not been able to overcome it and never will. We have to focus on Jesus, because as the common saying goes, Jesus is the reason for the season. The rest of us celebrate as best we can, but we should celebrate Jesus as the reason that we are here. I commend the beginning of John to your reading. I find it so uplifting, the way that John speaks about Jesus and the life that we get from him. I hope that you have a Merry Christmas. I hope that you enjoy the day, that you're able to celebrate with friends and family and good times, and understand it's good times because the light is here and the darkness cannot overcome it. Thank you.